All right, welcome everybody. Monday morning. Well, Monday morning where I am. Let me know where you guys are. Market is open. Bitcoin is still doing pretty much exactly what it was doing when we last talked on Friday after the market closed. So this orange line is where Bitcoin was when the market closed on Friday. So as we were doing our Friday live stream, Bitcoin was hanging around in this area right here. And I mean, we're not too far off from that right now. We're about 1% down from there, but still trading. You can see I'll zoom out. We're in a range here, and we have not left. We got a fellow Floridian. Welcome, Crypto Golfer. Hello, Barry. Hello, Hydro. Hello, Gorilla. Oh, Barry's on a plane, on a layover. All right. Travel safely, Barry. So we got red. We got red on the board today. Some Bitcoin miners have already put out their monthly operational reports. So I did do a deep dive on the Bitfarms, but it's not edited and posted yet. So as soon as this live stream is over, I will get that posted today. CleanSpark also put their numbers out, so we'll look at that as well. And a couple other companies put out some updates that I'm not sure why they're putting these updates out. I guess maybe they just have a public relations company that wants to keep their name in the forefront because they're not really very... Some of these other ones aren't really very informative. Obviously, the monthly operational updates I find highly informative. So I did go through Bitfarms in great detail, but we'll take an overview look at it and talk a little bit and get your guys' feedback on how you think it did. Barry's asking George today. George, yes, he has an invite. He's supposed to be here. I talked to him a little while ago, so I don't know. He may have gotten a phone call in between, and he's not here right now, so I would expect him to jump in at some point in the middle of the live stream, hopefully sooner than later. So let's see what else we got. Scapegoat said, good late afternoon. Gonna watch this stream in the car. Drive safely. George is busy watching BattleBots. I can't rule that out. That could always be a possibility, or playing video games. But he's probably on a call. This is what he gets. This phone does not stop ringing all day. It's brutal. Good morning. Let's see, Dev William Hardy. Welcome. If everybody could smash the like button, I would appreciate it. We got 6 likes right now. We've been going for 100 on these streams, and this is not our normal time and place for a stream. This is just because we had a good stream on Friday. We're doing an extra one here, so if you smash the like button, it will help spread the word and get people to the live stream, so it would be much appreciated. Let's see. Covered calls on Bitcoin miners now. Well, that becomes the question. I mean, if you'd been doing that all along, you've been in pretty good shape. And we definitely, let me zoom out a little bit. I don't know what that was. Hopefully you guys still see my screen. Buttons were pressed. Things happened. All right, so this is Bitcoin on the 1-day chart. So, I mean, you can see I got a dotted line here at 27,000. So, this line at 25,200, for those of you who can see, or I know some of you are only listening, there's a purple line at 25,200. That was a very long-term line of resistance, and We bumped into that in February. We hit it 3 or 4 times. We were right there for about a week. We got rejected, went back down to 20,000, and then took a run up. And you'll see in the 1-day candle, as soon as we crossed that line, and that is the first time, I'm going to scroll back, we tested that line in August of 2022. That's the last time we even tested this line at 25,000. You got to go back to June of 2022. You know, this was kind of in the middle of the flash crash here. We broke through this line. So since then, we've been below that until March 17th. So March 17th, you'll see a gigantic green candle. We moved up into this new range. That got us over 27,000. And we have been between 27, other than a few candle wicks here on the daily basis. 27's been strong support. 28.8 has been super strong resistance. Some people have this line at 28.6, I've noticed. Mine is at 28.8 for whatever reason. Well, let's see what the reason is. Is there a reason? That goes kind of back to this point, these points here. So, you know, somewhere within those couple of $100 takes us back all the way through 2021. So this is a major, major line. And you can see last week, so just like we had in February where we were bumping up against this 25,200 resistance, we are now in March, and now we've moved into April. We continue to retest this line. So we went candle wicked over it on March 22nd. We candle wicked over it on last Thursday, March 30th. This is Sunday, April 1st. We got to 28,826 according to this was the high. So we touched this line again. So I mean, we're hanging out, and we seem to be more at the top of this range than the bottom of this range. So this is to be expected, I think. So I know we did a poll and it was very close, but people thought maybe we would get to 30,000 over the weekend. I am one of those people because I'm just waiting. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do feel like we've put so much pressure on this point of resistance that at some point I think we're going to jump to the other side of it. Obviously, we could, you know, in February, I felt the same way at 25.5, and this failed, and we had to go retest 20,000. So, you know, that's always a possibility. And right now, you would hope that if we fail here, our retest would be down at this 25,000 because that is a very strong line. So you'd hope we get caught right there. If we don't get caught right there, then, you know, it might be back down to 20,000. I don't think these things are... I would not at all be surprised if we retest 25,000. I would be surprised if we go down and retest points lower than that, like 20,000. To me, I still think the next move is up. But we just, you know, this is a strong line. This is a very... Let me zoom out further. And just this line goes way... I got too many lines. You know what I got to do? I got to go to, like, where? Let's just get rid of this. Okay. So this particular page is just a little less messy. So this is Bitcoin on the 1 week time frame. So this is our November high, November 2021. You can see we got up on this chart. It says 69,000 even. That's what most of these charts say. And then, you know, this was kind of a double top. We topped out in April. And in a lot of ways, from the technical standpoint, this is where we technically topped out. We bounced off of the very line I'm talking about. You'll see this is, I don't even have to draw it on here. We're at the line right now. This is that 28,000, and 28.8 is where I have it. So it's a little above this. So you can see this is a very, this goes all the way back to January of 2021. So if I do this, let me do this. So, well, let's go here, because really it was right here, right? That's December of 2020. So from December of 2020 through June of 2022. So remember, June of 2022 is when we had our flash crash down to about 17,500. That was what I thought was ultimately going to be the low, but then we had the FTX situation, which is this 1 week candle, which dragged us down to this 15,500 area. But we traded for a long time, from December of 2020 to June of 2022. So that's a year and a half. This was a rock solid line of support. So you can see we did candle wick below at one time, but so this 28 to 29,000 area is super support. It's turned into resistance. We really, until now, we haven't even gotten close to this. So, you know, if I just continue this line out, you know, that's if we can get above that line, we've moved into a totally different area. So that's what I'm waiting. You know, I'm hoping we're sitting here. I don't know if we got to go down and retest some lower spots, but I'm hoping ultimately, if we can just get into this area right here and establish this as a line of support, then I think we're in a totally different range. And it could be that we stay in this range for a little while. Now, I'm jumping the gun because, you know, we're not there yet. So if I go back to, let's go to, the 1 day. So if I go back to the 1 day, I mean, you can see that. So the line, that yellow line that we were just going through is this red line right here. So that's why I think this is such an unbelievably significant line. But being such, it's no surprise that, you know, it's creating some resistance for a while now. We've been hanging around here. This goes back to March 17th, 18th, 19th. So, you know, it's been a few weeks that we've been hanging out in this area. So can we break above it? It hasn't happened yet. Good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, His Honor. Welcome, everybody who's here. If you have not yet, if you would please be so kind as to hit the like button. It helps the live stream out a lot, gets members. This is not our normal live stream time, so this helps spread the word through the algorithm to push this live stream out to more people. So as we do our polls and stuff, we can have more people voting. We're at 21. It's a long way to 100 likes from 21. So if you are willing, please smash the like button. Let's see. Crude oil global production is reduced by at least a half, reacting to the banking crisis. So I know a lot is going on with oil. So if we go look, let me go to just so oil's up 6% in the last 24 hours. It's back to $80. It was at $65, I think, somewhere just maybe last. It feels like it was last week, but it could have been a couple of weeks ago. Time flies, so I'll check that out. So you can see this day has turned red. The NASDAQ started red, and it's going down from there. Everything else started in the green. The Dow, which I pay no attention to, is still in the green. The S&P 500 has gone from the green to the red, but it's almost at zero. The Russell is now down, but the NASDAQ is what I tend to keep my eye on. Certainly looking at Bitcoin, the correlation if there's a correlation to anything, and I'm not sure that there will be going forward, but if there is, it's to the NASDAQ. Also, that's the correlation to most of the other small cap, high growth stocks that I look at are more correlated to the NASDAQ even than they are to the Russell 2000. So you can see the headline on Yahoo is oil price forecast rise on Wall Street on surprise OPEC plus cuts. So they announced some cuts, and we'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm going to go to this chart because we were at much higher numbers than this not so long ago, but we pulled way, way back. What happened? What did I do? So this is the 2-year on oil. So in the middle of last summer, so in June of 2022, I mean, we were up. I thought this hit higher than this. This says high of 123. I thought this got to 130. But anyway, in any event, this was way up there. And you can see recently in March, we got down to, let's see what, $65.17. So that was somewhere in the middle of March. It's now maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, and we've gone from 65 to 80. So that's a big jump, but there does seem to be some resistance at 80 here if we're looking at this chart. So we'll see if that breaks through. I mean, we are coming into the summer again, and you can see that's what happened last year. We jumped up. Actually, February we peaked, and then we came back down, but we peaked in the summer months, which is usually the highest demand months for oil. I don't think we're going to this place right here at all. I just don't. So we've definitely had a run up, but this is a pretty nice trading range it's been in. If it breaks out, I guess I suppose it could get back up here, but I'm not expecting this to skyrocket. I know a lot of people are, including George, who maybe I should try and get a hold of and get him on the stream, but if he's not here, he's on a phone call. Let's see. Sanity's Eclipse, good morning. Aloha from Hawaii. All right. How's the weather in Hawaii? We're in Florida and it's nice. So when I moved here, I vowed to never complain about the weather, so I won't. Jeff, welcome to the stream. Sourmelon Gaming, welcome to the stream. Is OPEC just pumping the oil prices as they dump dollars as they prepare for BRICS? Well, if George was here, he would jump right on that. That's exactly what he thinks is happening. I'm not as concerned about this. I might end up being wrong, so we'll have to watch. I think oil is going to get back in line sooner than later. But that's the theory. You know, and unfortunately, I'm in the United States. In the United States, we got to a point where we were less reliant on, what was happening in other places from an oil standpoint. So I do think I think if I believe we're trying to move back to that place, we'll see if it happens. But that's what needs to happen. We do not want oil spiraling again, so. Sourmelon Gaming said, Tom, enjoyed the April Fool's video you made. You had me fooled there at the beginning. Thank you, Sourmelon Gaming. That was fun. It was tough to keep a straight face, but I'm interested to see how long people got in before they realized it was nonsense. So, for those of you who missed it, I did have a Bitcoin. Well, that pattern has been invalidated. So let the record state Bitcoin should be at about 15 million right now if that pattern was going to hold. I was calling Bitcoin $730 million. And I tried to keep a straight face, so hope everybody enjoyed that. Sanity's Eclipse, Hawaii. We got sunny and clear temps between 62 and 85 max year-round. Love it. Only thing is markets open at 4 a.m. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I'm used to thinking about California at 7 a.m., but Hawaii is 4 a.m. That is brutal. You have to be on a different clock. That's rough. Brent, hi, welcome to the stream. This is my random. Please hit the like button. If you guys smash the like button, you can hit the like button and then you can unhit it when the stream is over. But while the stream is on, the more likes we get, the more the algorithm pushes this out to the rest of the YouTube investment community. So obviously we want to get as many people on the stream as we can. Barry said there were a few angry people in the April Fool's video comments. I know. I think there's some people. There's a couple of different groups of people. Some people, they only get to the thumbnail. So I always get an angry comment or two just from the thumbnail. And now, this one was an April Fool's, so they didn't even get in far enough to see. Then they read the title. I get some angry people from that. Now in this one, obviously, if you only watched 1 or 2 minutes in, then you probably think I'm a nut job. But I felt like I made it pretty crystal clear that I was... obviously, if you watched the whole thing, it was crystal clear that was April Fool's and not financial advice. But for those who cut out early or for whatever reason may have taken me seriously, but I did make it a point to point out that it was April 1st like 10 times in the video and that this is not financial advice. And I literally said that this theory is crazy. So I feel like I got the point across by the time I was done, but there's always some angry people in there somewhere. Robert, good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We got a slow Monday morning right now. Jeff said it was clearly satire. Thank you, Jeff. Sourmelon Gaming said I about spit my drink out when you said Bitcoin 730 million. Yeah, at that point, anybody who didn't get it by then doesn't get it. So, obviously, that is an absolutely ludicrous price target. Oh, well, Barry says 700 million per Bitcoin seems about right. Jeff's going for 7 billion. I mean, how funny would that be if that happened one day, 50 years from now? I'll take 70,000. How about that? That would make me extremely happy. So let's start there. Which I'm more and more I'm not going to call it. I'm not saying this, but I'm more and more believing that is, that would basically retest our all-time high. I do think there's a chance that we could do that in 2023. I know that's not the consensus. It's not necessarily my most probable case scenario, but I feel like it's not unreasonable to think that we could retest the highs by the end of this year. That's what I think. I think we've bottomed out. And it's going to continue to be a highly volatile road ahead. But I do think there's potential. The potential exists. Brent said, Dr. Evil, $1 million. That's right. When Bitcoin reaches 7 billion, that means the U.S. dollar has collapsed. It said Ty. Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no... That's just not happening. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Although, if we're all in Bitcoin, then maybe we'll be okay. Sandy's Eclipse is saying it's possible for Bitcoin to reach over 1 million by the 2030s. Let's see. You'll only need 0.01 Bitcoin today to become a millionaire by then. That's only a $200 investment in Bitcoin today. Stay long, friends. That is from Sanity's Eclipse. And that is the kind of math. I mean, the mid-2030s isn't that long from now. That's a 10-year time horizon. So, I don't, we're all at different ages and stages in our investment career, but I think most people, at this point, I don't care how old you are. You still got some portion of your portfolio should be planning for 10 years and out, even if you're 75 years old. I mean, when my parents were in their mid-80s, we still had things in, longer term, safe stuff, but longer term stuff. So that's a sound line of reasoning, Sanity's Eclipse. And who knows? Maybe it doesn't get to 1 million. Maybe it gets to 500,000. Whatever the case is, the upside potentially is massive. Barry is saying 70K in 2023. Fresh financial advice from Tom. This is not financial advice. I'm not calling 70K. I'm saying I'm saying there's a chance. Jeff saying, I don't even think we would be valuing Bitcoin versus fiat at that high of a valuation. Brent, 1 million by 2040. Yeah, I mean, honestly, wouldn't everybody on this stream be happy if doing a poll? All right, super simple. Hypothetical, Bitcoin to 1 million by 2020. So are we happy with that? So your chances are yes, happy? No, that's too long. That's too long from now. That's 17 years from now. So let's see how you guys feel about that. I would be a happy camper. I'll tell you, my vote on that is happy. So just so that everybody knows. I guess we need to see its progression. I'd like to see it progress nicely all the way along the way. I don't want it to take to 2035 to start moving. Oh, there we go. I had an empty George screen on there. Where is George? All right, we're only at 37 likes, so our stream is lagging behind. Anybody who can, if you can and you would, please smash the like button. Let's get this stream rolling. Barry, hello, Barry. 2020? Question mark? 2020 is the past. Scott, hello to you, and welcome. Lant, thinking more 2030 than 2040. Jeff, 18 times for 980,000 of appreciation. Yeah, happy would be the worst emotion I'd feel. 18 years. So, yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, we're in 2023. 2040 sounds like some distant sci-fi future movie, but it's not. I'm old enough to remember when... Never mind. I'm not that old. I'm old enough to remember when the year 2000 seemed like it was just so far off into the distant future that was like science fiction. But here we are now, 23 years past that. So time flies, everybody. I know a lot of you are in my age bracket, so you have already experienced the same thing. Barry, once it goes above 100K, the hype FOMO will be unreal. Yeah, we definitely, we knocked on the door back in 2021, but it fell short. And I think we got duped a little. And we got FOMO'd in big time by Plan B and everybody that just jumped on that as if it was, you know, just short of being considered a fact that we were going to do, you know, what Plan B said. And obviously that did not happen at all. So that just goes to show you the age-old lesson that we all already know but have to relearn time and time again. We don't know. We don't know until we get there. We can take our best educated guesses at this and do our research, understand the fundamentals, understand the technicals, understand, you know, the overall geopolitical situation. There's just so many variables that, you know, one day all of a sudden, you know, one of the banks goes under, and then, you know, you got a whole new problem. So the narrative can change quickly, and it does. Bitcoin's very sideways so far today, and 28,000 seems to be holding strong. So I feel good about that. Robert, Y2K. Yeah, for those of you who were around, you remember the hysteria around Y2K. All the computers were going to malfunction and it was going to be doomsday, and to my knowledge absolutely nothing happened whatsoever. So, but I do know a few people who learned, I think it was Cobalt. Everything was programmed in a language that, you know, I'm old enough that I took one semester of that and I couldn't even tell you anything about it. But I think a lot of people went and learned that and had to reprogram a lot of systems. And it was just going through lines of code, millions of lines of code, and just fixing a few items. And, you know, had they not done it, I don't know if it would have made any, you know, it seems like because nothing happened, it seems like that was another massive overreaction. We've had a series of those. So the longer you go on in this world, the more you realize the sky isn't necessarily falling every time that they say it is. But that doesn't mean that bad things don't happen. Let's see, His Honor, how about a quick comment on CleanSpark's latest results? So yeah, I will definitely comment on CleanSpark. CleanSpark and Bitfarm put out their operational report. CleanSpark keeps it very brief. Bitfarm's more elaborate. I did do a deep dive video. That video is done, but it's not posted because it needs to be edited and uploaded. And right now, obviously, instead of that, I'm doing the live stream. But that will that will be out today, hopefully, you know, in 2-3 hours. But I do want to talk about those on this stream right now. Possible for Riot to reach $80 as in February of 2021. Yeah, Riot. So some of these Bitcoin miners. And the last, if you watch my weekend update, I added a new chart by popular demand, and it's really an old chart that I used to do. So many people were criticizing me that, oh, this is outdated information. They didn't want to see it anymore. Now we've come full circle to where people are asking to see it. Basically, everybody wants to know where are the Bitcoin miners versus their highs, you know, back when Bitcoin was at its all-time high. And I had stopped making that comparison because everything's down just so drastically. At one point, everything was down somewhere between 91 and 99%. And by everything, I mean I believe 18 Bitcoin miner publicly traded stocks that I have on my watch list. So I did add that back in this weekend, and everything is still down massively. But I measured it from all the Bitcoin miners' price in November of 2021, not from their all-time highs, because as is the case with Riot, Riot was actually significantly higher in February of 2021. I think it peaked back, it got back up to about $46 if I'm remembering correctly. We can just go look in when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So I measured from that point just to be consistent. Otherwise, I was going to have to be, I don't want to pick random. Let's zoom out. Yeah, so this is November. This is when Bitcoin was at 69,000. So Riot was at $46.28. But you can see earlier in the year, these are 1 week candles. So this weekly candle got up to $79.50. Call it $80. So that was by far Riot's all-time high. But February, December of 2020, January, February, and even March of 2021, a lot of small cap high growth stocks got into this bubble where they were at prices that were just never made any sense. They were mind-boggling, and they were unreasonable. So I didn't count this. So I used to do this on every chart. Like, forget this time frame. This time frame was nonsense. But going from this time frame, but even with Riot, which is one of the best performing Bitcoin mining stocks over the last year and a half, they're still down. Well, first of all, they're down. They were down 42% even when they hit their November high. But even from there, they're still down, almost 80%. So, and they're one of the good ones. This is one of the better performing Bitcoin mining stocks in comparison. So things are still, everything is still way, way, way off of its highs. I don't know. There'll be plenty of these Bitcoin miners that don't hit their November highs, even if Bitcoin was to retest its high. I think some will. I think some will surpass their previous highs. But several of them, their business models have been so damaged, even though they've survived, they've had to make such drastic changes to what they're doing that I don't think they're going to get back to these November highs anytime soon anyway. Certainly not necessarily if simultaneous with Bitcoin getting back to its previous all-time high. So I think there's at least half the Bitcoin miners that will not be in this neighborhood. There are some that will be above, though, in my opinion. So, down 80%, if Riot can get above where it was, and I think Riot is one of the ones, for me personally, in my opinion, that could get past this high. Because you can see there was a lot of room and a lot of trading volume back. Now, this was in kind of a hysteria phase, but it did trade at these higher numbers. And the market cap is down accordingly. So it's not like, this is all just driven down by dilution. If you compare market cap to market cap, it's down in a similar fashion to this 80%. So there is a lot of room to the upside. These things were, particularly Riot and Marathon, which had a big head start over everybody else. These were $7 or $8 billion companies at their peak. So, they got down under, I think they may have both gotten under $500 million at one point. So, those drastic pullbacks. Jeff is saying, I'm fine with the dilution, but stop making it a talking point. That I'm not sure who that's in response to. Brent said, seriously, how will CleanSpark raise the capital they will need? Seems like a tall order. Jeff said, can CleanSpark stop bragging about dilution already? Oh, so that goes back to the original. Do you feel like they're bragging about it? I know a lot of people are very upset about their dilution. I'm not one of them. Diluting stock is a part of why companies go public. Now, you want to make sure that they do it in a manner that is, their fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, that they're using their stock dilution wisely, and that it's accretive to the company and adding value, But I think if you look at everything that CleanSpark has done, I feel good about their plan. Now, they're talking about getting to 16 exahash. I will say I'm going to wait and see. I don't think they need to run to 16. They've been adamant they're going to get to 16 exahash by December 31st, 2023. So obviously that will make them, they are already one of the top Bitcoin mining companies. That will keep them near the top. They won't necessarily be the largest, but they'll be, in the same neighborhood as the largest Bitcoin miners if they stick to that plan. Again, I only think they should stick to that plan if their stock starts responding positively, if Bitcoin starts to run up, and I think a lot of these stocks are going to change a lot if this long-term line of resistance at 28.8, if this turns into support and we start running up from there, I think you're going to see some, my opinion, the good Bitcoin miners, and you guys have to decide for yourself which ones those are, I think are going to have some very big run-ups if we can get to the other side of this line. So if that happens, in CleanSpark, instead of trading at $2.65, which is ridiculous in my opinion, if it's a $6 or $7 stock, then you start to raise a bunch of money. Also, it also makes more sense because then, if Bitcoin's at 32,000 or 35,000 or whatever the case may be, and I think it could get higher than that, then the profitability equation changes drastically, because even though the difficulty rate is going up very fast, it's not even close to as fast as Bitcoin has been going up in price. So if Bitcoin can have a full recovery, pretty much no matter how big the network gets and no matter how high the difficulty level gets, if Bitcoin can retest its all-time highs, it will outpace that almost certainly. So we'll see. None of that's happened. I mean, we for all I know, we're gonna, turn around. I don't think so. I've been super clear all along. I said when I thought we hit the bottom, I've stuck to that, and we've had a massive. Let's just take a look. Because this run has been, and it has not been a long period of time. It's now April 3rd, but let me get it into this. So if I go from, we double bottomed here on around November 22nd. So we're up 82.5% since late November 2022. We got as high as up almost, this got very near to 90%. So, we're a stone's throw away from Bitcoin doubling in what could potentially, if it gets there in time, could potentially be in less than a 6-month window of time. That would be one of those nice, good old-fashioned rallies in the cryptocurrency world that is not uncommon. So I think if the rest of this finishes out and we get this double, I think the Bitcoin miners are going to start to catch up. The Bitcoin miners did have a better week than Bitcoin last week, so that's bucking a trend. Bitcoin, had a period of time, a 3 or 4 week period, where it was performing better than the Bitcoin miners were. So that actually flipped around last week. If you watch my weekend video, I go through that in detail and talk about, the leverage, essentially the leverage ratio between these Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin itself. So Bitcoin is consolidating. There's no doubt about it. If I look on the day today, almost everything is still red. Bitfarms is down 2, Hut's almost 4, Hive is very close to 0, but still down. CleanSpark's down almost 5%, Riot's down almost 5%, Marathon's down 3.3%. These are big moves down, and again, I think we have to go to, I'm going to just refresh and see what the market's doing, make sure this is the latest and greatest. I think this has a lot more to do with the fact that the NASDAQ is down 0.75. So Bitcoin is down 1%. The NASDAQ's down almost 1%. So those things put together, with the leveraged play that the Bitcoin miners are supposed to be, we're getting some outsized moves to the downside, in my opinion, here with CleanSpark, Riot, Marathon, Iris Energy, Bit Digital's down 5%. Wolf's almost at 0. Argo is at 0. And a few are green. Cypher's green, Stronghold's green, Any, Core Scientific, DMG Blockchain, and MicroStrategy, which is not a Bitcoin miner, but it's an honorary member. It's a Bitcoin play, is also just a little bit green right now. So patiently waiting for the halving in 2024. Yeah, I mean, that's a monster event that's out there, and it's coming. So, and that's, it looks like, you know, somewhere April 2024. We're at 51 likes. If anybody's able to, if you could please smash the like button. It helps support the live stream, gets people, spreads our footprint on YouTube and shows this to more people. So we want to get people with us, want to get people on the live stream. Let's check in on, speaking of which, we'll check in on the vote. This is super close. So I'm going to do a follow-up to this. I'm going to call this first one. So Bitcoin to $1 million by 2040. Is that going to make you happy, or is that too long? Right now, that is going to make 56% of people happy. 44% of people feel like that is too long for Bitcoin to get to $1 million. So I'm surprised at those results. So I'm going to follow that up, and I'm going to tighten the time frame a little bit. Oh, and we also have a late guest to the party. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome George.
I'm not really here until you make my face appear.
It's on a lag, so it did appear, but so how long did that take?
I don't know. Just, I wasn't signed into YouTube, so I didn't think you went lying. Lying. I didn't think you went live.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, I guess he didn't go, and I look in the corner, I'm like, wait, I'm not logged in.
I figured, as usual, you were getting called from...
Yeah, I was, but then you look, and I look at all the live feed, and then there's pictures of this guy named, I don't know, Trump? Do you know who this is? Like, his plane's going to take off and go to New York, and, like, I look for your, live feed with right there with all those people watching that stuff, and I'm like...
Yeah, are you telling me people are watching that instead of this?
Yes. I couldn't believe it. I was like...
Do people care about their finances or not? I mean, come on.
Dude, this is crazy to me. This is crazy. I'm like, why in the world would anybody care about that? And, because okay, so here was my epiphany this morning. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, it's going to be a little out there. A lot of people have said this. What if the government created Bitcoin? And they created it because they knew this day was coming. This day that I speak of today. Where, we're not using the US dollar anymore to buy oil. And that's a big deal. These countries not buying oil in US dollars. They can use XRP. I'd be okay with that. But
yeah, I know. We all know you would definitely be okay with that.
But I realized, I was like, man, what if this was all the design of the reason for Bitcoin? I mean, no confidence in the dollar. What are you going to put it in? Because I was like, dude, you put money in the British pound? Do you put it in the euro? I mean, they're more screwed than we are.
The fiat currencies are not having a good millennium so far here in the...
I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, maybe that's why it was...
century, the 21st century, but we're in the next millennium now, and so far for fiat currencies, not so good.
I was waiting to see, like, the dollar get crushed today, and it's not. Compared to... I track it with the euro, the pound, the euro, and the Canadian dollar. And it's still pretty much right where it always is. It is down a little bit on the pound. Or is it up? I never can tell. It's 80 cents.
Where's
for the
mine?
pound. It's $1.34.
Let's look at the...
Yeah, it did go down. It went down about a penny. It's down about 4 pennies.
It's still hanging. This chart's worth looking at, so let's go to it. So this is the strength of dollar chart. So it is, I mean, it's retesting. Let me go to the 1 day. The 1 week's a little much. So we've talked about this a bunch of times. This was a 20-year high, this green line. So, you know, when it broke above this and it went back down below just a little bit and then stayed above for a long, long time from June of 2022 until January of 2023, this was above the 20-year high. It went below right here. So we did this and we had a really nice rally in everything, particularly in cryptocurrency. And now, you know, we're starting to do this. So are we going to get some rally here out of this? Because...
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get any rally. I was waiting for the nose.
That's a rally.
You think we're going to get a rally into the dollar?
No artistic ability whatsoever.
I think we're not going to get a rally into the dollar at all. That's the problem.
No, I'm saying I think if the dollar can keep getting beat up, this is showing a weakening dollar. If the dollar can keep taking a little bit of a beat down, you know, we don't want the bottom to fall out, but if it can take a little, you know, it's got a lot of room to the downside from here. I mean, look, it was down here in January of 2022. It was down at 94. We're at 102, and it got, you know, it got a lot lower than that. This was down at 89. None of this was a crisis.
Right.
In fact, this was a bull market for the equities. It's when this happened that the market went the other way. So,
the only thing I can say is fill up your car with gas today, because it's coming.
We had a conversation about that, and I was saying,
it's
George,
coming.
George was already on me today about this.
It's coming. It is coming like a freight train.
Craig, welcome. Happy to see both Tom and George. Well, you got here at the right time. George just joined us.
Oh, there goes this guy Trump, whoever that is.
We got.
Dude, did you see his plane? I had no idea.
I did not see his plane.
I was like, wow, that's a nice plane. I gotta get me one of them.
Yeah, I have not seen his plane, but I'm not surprised to hear that it's a nice plane. I would have bet on that.
No, I just find it interesting that you know,
that we condone betting.
We're getting ready to go to war, right? And then they cut production of oil. I wonder why they would do that, Tom.
What
would they so what you're saying is you need oil, you need gas for war, and so what you're saying is they're going to make more money? We know who your friends are, right?
This was
Dude, if that's not a middle finger at the United States, I don't know what is. You know that? I was like, are you kidding me?
It's not the first middle finger we've gotten from
that
OPEC.
One was, yeah.
This is what they do. And, you know, we had gotten to a point where they had less of an ability to do that. We're a little bit backwards from where we were at the peak. And we got to get back into that spot.
Oh, my ear itches. Probably got maggots in there.
Oh, I think that's not the answer. This is not a horror movie. That only happens in horror movies.
I got rid of everybody for you, Tom.
Great, nice work. Thanks, appreciate it.
What this guy thinks oil matters. Yeah,
Jeff
I know.
said,
We have
US
plenty of
government
oil.
comes out and announces it has 200 exahash.
LOL.
They
came out and said they got 41,000 still left to go of Silk Roads.
They dumped 10 over a pretty short period of time, 10,000, and they're gonna, I guess, apparently, I don't know what the time frame is. They're not gonna do it all at once, all on one day, but over a reasonably short period of time in intervals, they're gonna sell that 41,000 remaining.
Right.
So, you know, slow and steady, that could keep some downward pressure on Bitcoin. Does seem to be, we're at a massive line of resistance that it's been struggling with, and maybe that's like the factor that's just kind of keeping us from getting through this breakthrough. I'm looking for this breakthrough, and I still I'm still on the page where I think it's going to happen. I mean, we're knocking at the door in a big way. I do think there's a chance we go retest 25,000. I don't think we go any lower than that, and then the next move is up. In my opinion.
Do you think I'm fair-mongering? I'm just pointing out facts.
Who said that? Oh.
No,
Steven.
Andrew. I'm just putting out, Mr. Andrews. I'm just putting out facts. I'm not, nothing. I'm all good. In the hood.
Golfer said we have plenty of oil and natural gas in the U.S. if we would just drill for it.
Drill, baby, drill. Right? I don't know who said that one, too. That one comes to mind.
I have to... Well, I don't have to believe this. I choose to believe that we are going to increase our production in oil and natural gas, and that is going to mitigate the problem. And there's lots of countries that have oil and natural gas. The U.S. is has extremely large reserves of oil and natural gas, but it's not the only place. So, Canada has a massive amount of natural resources. Coincidentally, the Ukraine has a massive amount of natural resources. Russia, China has a lot of the precious earth metals. Jeff said, George, I'm with you on oil, pumping oil, and dumping dollars. Yikes.
Yikes. It's just going to cost us more money. That's all that's going to happen.
More money.
So, Tom, here's my question. How long can they keep suppressing Bitcoin? That's the real question. Because Bitcoin's going to take off. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it's been 2.5 or 3 weeks we've been knocking at the door here on the next move up. So I feel like it's imminent, but, who knows what they're going to throw at us next. And then I did somewhere, let's see if I saved it. Maybe not. Yeah, see, to me, let me get rid of these. To me, this is what it's all about. If you look at this, George, from December of 2020 to June of 2022, you can see Bitcoin, this line held. This was absolute support for Bitcoin. We had runs up and runs down, but this was just total support. So this is an extremely strong line of support, but by the same token, strong lines of support can turn into strong lines of resistance. This is the very first time that we're hitting this number since we flash crashed below it. We've never gotten anywhere near it. In August of 2022, we got back to 25,000. We got back in February of 2023, we got back to 25. Now we're pushing 29. So, we're at 28 at the moment, but over the past 3 weeks, we've been pushing 29,000. And if we could just get above this, I think we can start, if we can trade back in this box. If we can get back into this box, that's a different trading range than this. That's what I'm looking for.
So are we about ready to get into that box?
This is us right here. This is us right here.
About ready to get into the box.
Yeah, so all we got to do, we're on the line. If we can get here, then maybe we can start doing one of these deals. And it doesn't have to run up, to the moon immediately. Although, let's hope this line's exactly right.
What is the exact number to get into the box?
My line's at 28,800. I think we need to see a daily candle close above that, and then I think we need to retest that and confirm it as support. So all of that could take a week or two or who knows what, but I feel like that's imminent. I think this zoomed out picture right here shows, we were doing this, now we're doing this, and this is the first time we're looking to break out of this range. These are 1 week. This happened in one week candle. It was like above, below, and that was it. Game over from there.
So once you said 28, we have not done that at all. We haven't got into that box at all.
I'll zoom in and show you where, although the the box won't be on here, but this is 28,000. Technically, that yellow box is this red line. So the yellow box that we were just looking at on the wider time frame is this red line right here. And you can see we candle wicked above it on March 22nd. We touched it on March 23rd. We candle wicked way above it on March 30th. So that was just last Thursday. So, I mean, we are there. We just need to get from here, to here. If we can do that, then I think the next, there's some good potential momentum ahead of us.
The full moon happens on the 6th. Just want to let everybody know.
Full moon on the 6th, for those of you who saw my video over the weekend. Unfortunately, my chart's been invalidated. Bitcoin 730 million. We were right there.
I think this is the wall that we're going to stay on for a minute.
The 28.8.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to pop right now. I see it popping, but I don't know if it's right now. Maybe it will. We're just right at that. We're right there. We're right there.
We're right there, and we've been there, and we've been there for weeks, and we haven't been there for a long. I mean, I'll go back just to look at this. This is a long stretch. This is the flash crash right here in June of 2022. So since that flash crash, we have not been back above this line. We've not even revisited it until now. So that was a solid, 9 months? Pretty much. That was a solid 9 months that we spent below that line. And I'll add one other thing to this to put it in perspective. That's the 200-week simple moving average. So you'll see in the same weekly candle where we flash crashed and got below this trading box that we were in, we also went below the 200-week moving average, where we basically stayed for the next 9 months, understanding we've never been below this for more than a week. And that only happened one time. One time we were below this for a day. One time we were below this for a week. One time we touched the line and bounced off of it. This is the only real time we've ever spent under the 200-week, which is almost a 4-year moving average. So that is a deep. That's why I say this is the worst crypto winter we've ever had. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So you can see this doesn't look like much, but if you measure it, we are up. From this bottom, we're up. We did this earlier. We're up 85%. I mean, that's a big move up. And we're nowhere near. That just gets us back in, not quite, into our old trading range, which we entered in December of 2020. And then somewhere in one of these weeks is when Elon Musk tweeted something, and then it was all over. It was, the boom, 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 3 green weekly candles that were through that got us to Bitcoin 40,000.
So if Trump right now, if Elon Musk right now tweeted something, would you think it would go nuts?
I think he has lost 90% of the impact that he had at
Really?
that time. Yes. Because I can tell you, he put us into this run and he took it away.
Right.
Then all of a sudden somehow, because remember, then he bought a bunch of Bitcoin at Tesla. And then suddenly it came to his attention that it takes energy to mine Bitcoin. So, he came out with a series of tweets about, how he's rethinking his position. And it's like, to me, I'm sorry, Elon, but don't tell me you bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and you didn't understand how Bitcoin works. There is nobody that believes that story. So count me in the group that includes absolutely everybody. That was just FUD. All right, I'm going to end this poll and add a new one. George, we did a poll. Somebody said Bitcoin was, they thought it would get to $1 million by 2040. So I did a poll. Would we be happy with that, or is that too long? So it's a virtual tie. Right now, 52% happy, 48% too long. So I'm going to end this poll and do a new poll. So let's do a new poll.
Too long.
Too long. There was a pretty significant, almost statistically almost a tie on that one, we'd say. So now I'm going to change it.
Too long. So let's see, we get 10 Bitcoins. If they go to $1 million, that's $10 million. But I don't even know if that would be enough money. Do you think that'd be enough money? 2030?
Yeah, I do.
Miners or Bitcoin right now? Investing, miners or Bitcoin?
I like where the Bitcoin miners sit from an investment standpoint. In my mind, they're lagging. This is a period of time where they've lagged behind, so I think they're due for a catch-up. In the long term, over the long term, I think they're both excellent investments. The Bitcoin, straight-up Bitcoin investment is probably a safer investment because you don't have to guess which miner is going to win and which miner is going to lose and which crazy thing is going to... Sometimes, crazy things happen to any one given company, so... maybe the safest bet is in the underlying asset itself. Welcome. We have a new member. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. Mocha Nut, I believe. Welcome. Thanks. Thank you so much for joining the Talking Investing squad. There's a bunch of videos ready and waiting for you. Also, you can join us tomorrow on the live stream. We have a members-only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. So anybody else who happens to be interested in joining, there is a link in the chat section to join and become a member, and you can catch tomorrow's members only. So thank you again. Congratulations. Welcome to our newest member.
Shiba.
Jeff said you need your own Bitcoin ASAP, and you need it in cold storage. Colton is enjoying some McDonald's coffee at the moment. Welcome, Colton.
Not Dutch Brothers? So I have a question.
Like Moki Nut. Like a Moki donut.
The 2024 halving. When will the next halving be after that?
I mean, it's roughly every 4 years.
So so that's in 24, so 28.
Tell me if I'm still getting that wrong. Moki Nut? Mochi? A mochi donut? That's on me. Jeff Colton, go to Dutch Brothers. Yeah, what if there is one where he is, Jeff? You let us know. It was mostly a West Coast thing.
Mochi. Moochie. Moochie.
All right, so I'm going to put let me put the new one out.
You got another pull?
Yeah, I'm narrowing the frame. Okay, so last time we said it by 2040. Now, Bitcoin to... that's a hashtag instead. It should be a $sign. Bitcoin to $1 million. So let's pretend that says dollars. No, I'm ending this poll. Two errors in the poll. Sorry for those who have voted. I got to do a new one. That had 2 errors.
I'm not smart, crypto golfer. Because I think it's going to be in 27 personally. I think it's only going to be 3 years. I quickly voted, by the way. So did
Well, you're going to get to vote again because I said by the year 3034. So I think it's fair to say none of us are going to be happy if it
Well,
takes
I
until
don't.
the year
I'm gonna go out on a
3034.
limb, Tom, and say none of us are gonna be here.
That's a pretty highly likely scenario.
I'm going with that. Even if you upload your essence onto the whatever.
Into the metaverse.
Yeah. I'm going with still. That's probably very. That's 9 years,
All
right?
right. So yeah,
11 years.
I shortened it up quite a bit. So that's 11 years from now.
Still too long. I was gonna do two. Still too long, but I'd still be happy. What?
Cast your votes.
9 years. 9 years from now, I'm gonna see how old I'm gonna be.
Jeff's saying by 3034, Bitcoin might actually be at my $730 million price target. That's right. I would be disappointed if it's not, Jeff. Although none of us
Zelda.
will be here to know anything about
Did
it.
you ever play Zelda, Tom?
I don't
Dude,
think
I
so.
played the first Zelda that was on PC that you had the floppies.
You're way more of a gamer than I am.
Yeah, that was. I did that with Tom.
You go, both of you guys. He's probably worse. He's
Oh yeah, without a question.
yes. I remember when he came over with some. It was some zombie, like kill the zombie game, and you were in a shopping mall, and my kids were like 7 years old and 9 years
And
old.
they loved it.
They did. They loved it so much. That's their like number one association with Big Tom.
The zombie killing game. Oh no, wasn't that the zombies versus plants or something like that?
I don't know what it was. He gave him
That
the
was
game. He's
awesome.
like, "Oh, you guys like it? Keep it." So at the time, they weren't doing any shooter games. So
You can blame Tom
that
for
was
it.
that was their new world. Ken said 1 million by 2029. Let's see. Let me catch up. Mochi and maple syrup. Yum. That sounds good. See, I'm in the middle of a phase where I don't know if you're talking coffee or donuts or both, but at the moment I'm on a diet. So I'm on black coffee and no donuts. I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but it's time. I gotta get back to a reasonable weight. Colton, yes, that is correct. Dead Rising. That was the game. Yes.
That was the game?
Yep.
That kid.
He was on though. I don't know if it was a PlayStation or whatever we had for the kids. Tom was on it more than they were. 10 years from now, Bitcoin will be 500,000 or zero. This is from Scott. Somebody might crack the code and print them out like candy. I feel like Bitcoin will never be hacked. I know that's I mean, just saying it out loud, it seems like a ridiculous thing to think, but it's, I mean, let's just say a lot of people have been trying for a long time, and I think it seems to be unbreakable. George's Coffee and Donuts only. Colton, I'm on the Ripley's Believe It or Not diet, eating screws and bicycle parts. Oh, I saw some guy do that. That's not good. I don't recommend that. This channel does not support eating metals. All right, we're making some progress. If you haven't smashed the like button, if you could smash the like button, I would appreciate it very much. It spreads our stream through the algorithm. The stream is growing right now as we speak. So do us a favor and smash the like button. It's free. And it's free to vote. And let's see how the vote's going. Holy cow. I think everybody voted the exact same way. I'm going to have to do another one. We'll give this one 5 more minutes. And then I think we got to go to a lower time frame. I'm trying to find the point in time at which people are actually going to be happy. I'm hungry. You gonna leave the stream and no,
I'll leave here in a few minutes.
Maybe Jeff's saying maybe Bitcoin is alien tech.
What does that mean?
Alien technology.
How is that alien technology? You know how I know it's not alien technology? They'd have different characters. Okay?
Well, it's no, because the humans reverse engineered the alien technology. So, we've translated it to our system. I don't know. Where do you get your reverse engineering degree?
I don't know.
I
think I got it, though.
A lot of that going on. 2 halvings plus a year, said Ken. Oh, we got somebody calling. We got Garrett's calling for DWAC squeeze. True Social downloads are skyrocketing. That's an interesting play because it's kind of faded into obscurity a little bit, but that could be interesting. That was a great trader stock.
We did well with it.
Up and down and up and down. Now it's kind of been down for a while and it's less in the profile.
Oh, is everybody shorting it right now?
It was at like $12. I haven't checked in a long time.
It's $14.96.
$14.96. So yeah, I mean, you
remember what it was up to 80, 100.
Right, it was at much, much, much higher numbers. It sprinted out.
April 25th, it was 52.39. 49 April 11th. I don't even know. That makes sense. To get 6.22 today up. That's actually a good idea. That could be fun.
Steven saying no. Steven English, no diet advice. No advice for me. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. When I get to a certain number on the scale, I gotta stop the madness.
Does Rumble trade?
Yeah, Rumble. I almost.
That's funny. Rumble's down 6.10, but they're 2.6 billion.
Rumble or DWAC?
A Rumble is too. DWAC's not even a billion.
Well, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective. 2.6 billion, while that is a lot of money for a social network, it's tiny.
A social network.
Well, I think that's what they consider themselves.
Give you a social network.
I don't know what that means.
I will give you a social network.
Literally. What are y'all's favorite time window for calls, puts? I love 60 days. So, yeah, if I'm doing swing trade, I like to have 60 or 90 days. Because you just don't... By the time you're at 30 days or less, your outside forces can cause you to fail, right? Even if everything with the stock you're doing is happening the way you thought it was going to happen, and something happens in the world or whatever the case may be. So 30 days or less, and I know some people do make some, and I'm not saying I've never used the 30 days or less time frame, but I like that 60 to 90 days. And I use smaller dollars, and with smaller dollars, that's a giant leverage play using options on its own anyway. So, whether you're buying them If you're selling covered calls, then, you know, that's a very low risk situation. The only thing you can miss is potential upside, really. Yeah, feel free, anybody else, to answer that. What are you guys doing with options, puts, calls, etc.? So, all right, I'm going to check in. It's been 10 minutes. Bitcoin to 1 million. So we're now up to 64% of the people will be happy. So 52% would be happy by 2040. 64% will be happy by the year 2034. One last one.
You got one more?
Got one more.
You've been thinking about these, huh?
Well, I got a bunch of more after this, but these are all... The results to the first one surprised me so much that I'm doing follow-ups.
It's got to really suck for CleanSpark. They mined 598, 22% increase from the prior quarter. They've hodled 196 BTC. They're at 6.7 exahash. Washington, Georgia. Expansion on track. And their stock is down.
Yeah, we should get to those quickly because people have been asking about two of the miners put out their updates, and if any of them put them out since I've been on the stream, I haven't checked. All right, this is the last one of these. Bitcoin to $1 million by 2029. Yes is happy, and then, or
yeah, I guess
still so. Too long. 2029.
Nothing.
Give me just a second while I look for something. All right. All right. So if we check out, let's check out these monthly operation reports. Again, I did do a deep dive. It's not out there yet because I'm doing this live stream right now, which is delaying that from getting edited and posted. But that will be up today. That is on Bitfarms because Bitfarms announced. They always announce on the first business day of the month. So that's usually the first deep dive I do each month. So I have that up here somewhere. So I'll just go over it a little bit. I don't want to go too deep because I did do, you know, an entire video on this that's not even posted yet. But Bitfarms mines 424 Bitcoin in March. So it was like 387 maybe, and I'm just rattling that off the top of my head. I'll double check in February. But there was a key number here that, to me, I'll tell you, I thought this was excellent results. Bitfarms is a different company than it was a year ago or a year and a half ago. Adjustments have been made. I think the stock has been brutalized. But, you know, it's not that much different. Let me go to the 1 week time frame. All these stocks have been crushed, as we just looked at, which is the one. Riot we just looked at, still down 80% or something like that. Or was it Bitfarms? So at the peak, and you'll see this one was the November 8th, so that was Bitcoin's all-time high. So from there to where we are right now, yeah, Bitfarms is down 90% from its all-time high. So its all-time high corresponded to Bitcoin's all-time high. So you'll see it had this giant candle wick back up here in December of 2020. Again, this was crazy time, so I ignored this stuff. But this was legit to me. And, you know, the Bitcoin network has gone up, the difficulty level, the price of Bitcoin's gone down. So, you know, there's a reason that these companies should be down from their all-time highs, but is that reason 90%? Because that's not how the math works out at all. That means
Bless
that
you.
people think that this, even here, this was wildly overvalued, and I don't share that feeling. But even if you were to go down to here, this is December of 2021. You know, you're still at Bitfarms was still at $6. Bitfarms has lost $1 billion in market cap, which is the vast majority. Right? I think we did look at this. Where's Bitfarms? They're at $224 million. So they've lost over $1 billion of market cap since their high. And, you know, that's the vast majority of their market cap. Their stock's down 90%. So, and CleanSpark, let's look at, those are the two that announced today. So let's do the same exact thing for CleanSpark. They're at 200 million. So they've lost almost $1 billion of market cap from their November highs. And I will show you, as some of you may know, their November highs were nowhere near their all-time highs. So if you go back to January of 2021, and remember, for those of you who were watching earlier or who saw the 100 videos I made at this time, you know, I always did this. This period was wacko, and there was a bubble, but CleanSpark was up at $42. But even if you discount and totally ignore all of that price action and just go to the November high from 2021 when Bitcoin was at its all-time high. So from there to here, you know, CleanSpark's down about 89%. So very similar to Bitfarms. To me, that's too much. CleanSpark is, in CleanSpark's case, they've more than tripled their exahash since then. Yes, Bitcoin's still down about 58% off of its highs, but there's a big difference between down 58% and down 89%, especially when, as a company, you've tripled in size. So, you know, in theory, if you did the simple math, this stock actually should be higher right now than it was then. Now, I understand that they're lower, and that does make sense to me, but to me, down 90%, 89%. And again, that's not from here. You want to go from their highs. That's not 94% down from their highs. So, and I absolutely agree that this was overinflated, but they're still down close to 90% off of what I think is a reasonable price target. Even if you were to say this is a 1 or 2 or 3 year price target, you know, this is, let's say it's a 3-year price target for the sake of argument. That's a 780% increase. So I think that's going to outpace 99% of the stocks in the market if it was able to do that in 3 years. I think it should do more than that. That's my personal opinion. So, you know, we'll see. A lot of that obviously is going to depend on what Bitcoin does. And Bitcoin, by the way, is very sideways today. It's at 27,960. It's been within $50 of 28,000 almost all the trading day today. The miners, for the most part, other than a few exceptions as always, are mostly red. And the big miners, so Riot, the two largest miners by market cap by far are Riot and Marathon. And they have been moving in tandem lately. And here they are again. Riot's down 6.5%. Marathon's down 5.96, so 6%. So they're having a big down day. So as the two biggest market caps, that's a big move to the downside. On a day where Bitcoin's, you know, Bitcoin's not doing too much right now, so. Let's see what Edmund. Love adding Wolf under 95 cents. Over 125K now have more buying power. March production should be 205 plus, 400 plus expected in June. I'm patient. Yeah, their numbers, I agree, Edmund. their production numbers are going to have, and that time frame seems about right to me. It's going to take a couple more months, but they're going to be at much. I mean, they were at 100. They were at 0 not too long ago, right? Them and Cypher really just started mining in the fourth quarter of 2022, and both of those companies' production numbers are, they're going to be top 5-6 producers sooner than later. So, we've been positive on Wolf on this channel. Not financial advice, but it's been a good play so far this year. It's been good, or should I say this last couple weeks.
I made it to 1. I'm coming over.
All right, George, thanks for joining us on the stream.
Late.
I'll see you shortly.
See you guys.
Hit the button. All right, so that's it for George. All right, this particular poll seems to be going better, but I'm going to let it keep going. We got 23 votes, so don't forget to vote. And let's just take a quick look. We were looking at... Where'd you go? That's Cleanspark. What'd I do? No? Well, let me get back to it. Oh, I had not looked at the Cleanspark yet. That's why. And where's Bitfarms? Sorry, I'm lost, ladies and gentlemen. Here. Now I'm found. All right, so this is where we left off. Bitfarms 424. So I thought that was a good month. The one thing I'm going to point out, and then again, there's going to be a deep dive video out on this by the end of the day today. The video is already done. We just have to get it edited and uploaded. So, and I go through, there's an awful lot of information. I think this is a huge step in the right direction for Bitfarms. That's my personal opinion. But a lot of changes have happened in this company. I think they're focusing right now on strength of balance sheet and income statement, on profitability. So this is a little bit of a different formula than what everybody was kind of in the exahash race last year. I think these guys have shifted and they've made some progress that I think is extremely impressive. But you can watch the video later and you can read this for yourself and decide for yourself. But I'm going to point out one number that I think is very important. Bitcoin per average exahash. So the Bitcoin miners are starting to self-report this. I was doing a chart of this every month for the last couple of years, and now they're starting to put this out on their own. So mine was a little less precise because, I don't have their data. I don't know on a minute-to-minute basis how many of their machines are up. So this is based on uptime. So their average Bitcoin per exahash for the month was 91. And that's what it was in February. They were able to maintain that despite the fact that the difficulty level increased significantly. Let me see if I can find that. I have that somewhere. Yeah, so to put it in perspective, in February, the difficulty level went down 0.5%, the first change. The second change, it went up 10%. So the last 4 days of February, because February is a short month, February didn't really get punished for this 10%, 9.95%. But all of March was at this higher difficulty level. So that's significant. And then again, on March 10th, it got raised again another 1.16%. And then on March 23rd, it got raised another 7.56%. So that was 8 days of the month. So you can see the average difficulty level in March was significantly more than it was in February. So I thought it was impressive. this result was very good. 91 Bitcoin per exahash, I think, is going to be among the leaders. If I find, let me see if I can find this. So you'll see last month, Bitfarms and Hive were at 91. They were the leaders. So Bitfarms just did another 91. I think that's going to be at or near the top again. So this makes it, you know, from the top to the bottom of this list makes a big difference. There's several of these that are getting more and more competitive. But when you start getting down into the 70s and the 60s, now, I will say with Riot, they get paid for electricity. So there are times they sell their electricity because it makes them much, much more money than mining Bitcoin. So I will wait for them to put out their March operations and see if they let us know if they had, you know, some curtailment where they threw energy back to the grid and got paid millions of dollars for it. So that can affect this number as well. But again, 91 is excellent. They were able to match that. So I thought Bitfarms had a good month. And then, so if I go to CleanSpark, I don't know why this is not visible. Let me see if I can make this a little clearer. Aha! Okay, so CleanSpark releases March 2023 Bitcoin mining update. I have not done a video on this. I will do a deep dive on this probably tonight, maybe to get posted tomorrow. But just to do a topside, company mined 598 Bitcoin. So again, I think these were strong results. That gives them 1,871 Bitcoin for Q1 of 2023, January, February, March. They're not holding a lot of Bitcoin. You guys know they're on a massive growth path, so we'll talk more about that. They have committed to getting to here. I'll read this part right here. Once those machines are racked and the expansion is energized, our hash rate is expected to increase to about 8.7 exahash, giving us substantial progress towards our calendar year goal of 16 exahash. So they want by December 31st, 2023, they want to be at 16 exahash. So that's their plan. They have a long way to go, but they did stick. They not only stuck to their plan last year, they beat their plan last year from a growth standpoint. So we'll see what happens. I'm not fixated on this 16. I don't necessarily think it's critical they get to that, but it's their personal objective. So as an investor, what I would hope is that they get there in a methodical way where they're running their business highly efficiently and they're getting their worth on their stock dilution that is almost certainly going to be required to get from here to there. So those are the things I'm looking for on CleanSpark in general. But 598, just under 600 Bitcoin. Again, if I compare that, where'd that go? That's not it. So if we look at Bitcoin last month, so you'll see last month Bitfarms was at 387. This month they're at 424. So I think it's fair to say they're going to stay somewhere right here in the top 10, somewhere at around 5. We have to wait and see what Cypher did. In theory, I would think Cypher probably did a little bit more than that, but we don't know until they report. So somewhere around 4th or 5th for Bitfarms. CleanSpark, you can see, went from 576 to 598. So they're kind of solidifying their position. I'm calling this third place because Core Scientific, while they continue to mine a massive amount of Bitcoin, they do have to sell all their Bitcoin every month, and they're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy right now. So this, while it's a big, impressive number, it doesn't really mean anything. At the moment, they're not keeping any of the Bitcoin, and it's not like they're selling it to grow the business. They've got a debt situation that they're in the middle of in bankruptcy. So, you know, this is in limbo to me. So, you know, of the top three that are active, Marathon and RIOT, we talked about, those were the two largest market cap by far. They were in the high 600s. I'm told somebody looked at the marathon pool and they think they're going to be over 800 this month. That hasn't been released yet, and I did not look myself and do the math, so I can do that. But so they'll, these guys will probably stay where they are, and CleanSpark will probably stay in third place here. So I thought good months for both of those guys operationally. A deep dive on Bitfarms coming out today. Deep dive on CleanSpark coming out tomorrow. Let's just see what Bitcoin is doing. 27,995, 997, 28,000. So here we go again. We're back to 28,000. So I think today's theme is that Bitcoin seems to be hanging around at 28,000. So if you look at the 4-hour RSI, to me, this is why I haven't looked at these on the channel in a few days. There's some very ambiguous things going on, in my opinion, on this chart. So, you can see we were in a downward trend for a long time. This got us down to 20,000. We got to oversold on... This is the daily, sorry, on the daily RSI. We got to oversold on March 10th, and then we had a big run up from there. So we've been pulling back ever since. And, technically, I don't want to say there's a bearish divergence going on here. You might make that argument. I think it's a little early for that. We're still above this trend line. So this, which was resistance, I'm looking at as support. So I'm not ready to call this either way. This is one of those deals where I feel like we're not getting a lot of direction from some of these technicals. And I think the 4-hour is no better. So, to me, we're hanging around 50. Last time we did this, we had one of these right here, and we had a nice push from there. So, maybe we get the same thing, but hard to say. And then, in combination with the MACD, you can see on the 4-hour, we're days into just no momentum in either direction on the MACD. I'm going to zoom this way in, and it's going to look like activity, but it's really not. I mean, since we had this pump back here at the end of March, we had a bearish crossover, we had a bullish crossover, we had a bearish crossover. Now, it would seem that we're moving back in the right direction, but, again, totally ambiguous in my opinion. So I think we need to wait for these to reset a little bit. So that's why in my overall analysis, and I'll just show it on the 4-hour time frame, I think you can see we've spent a long time knocking at the door here on this long-term line of resistance. So we got to get through this. I don't know if it's going to happen or if the possibility exists that we may need to go retest this line first. So if these technicals start to turn downward, then I'm maybe going to look for a retest of 25.2. But even if we get that, I'm still looking for the short-term move to get above this line. I do think we're going to break above this line. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, only time will tell, and we don't know what other global events will go on between now and then. MicroStrategy deep dive, Scott. Yes, that is also happening this week. So I don't believe I've ever done a MicroStrategy deep dive, but that is on my list for this week. So for those of you interested in MicroStrategy, they had some cool stuff going on. Very recently, they issued some stock. They bought some more Bitcoin. Their Bitcoin holdings are astronomical. So, and I have not personally done a video, I don't believe, on a deep dive on that. So we'll have to see. All right, let's take a look at the poll. This is the final poll. Still not overwhelming. So if Bitcoin were to get to $1 million by 2029, still 33% of you would not be happy with that. You're saying that's still too long. So just to put in perspective, that's what kind of expectations are out there for Bitcoin. We still have a third of the people that even if it gets to $1 million in 2029, which is just 6 years from now, they're still going to feel that that would be underperformance. So I think that means, you know, the three polls put together, the one thing they all agree on is I think in the long term, people seem to be extremely bullish on Bitcoin. So, you know, we're looking at these short-term things, trying to figure out what's next. That's always a little bit more difficult, so we'll see what comes. But I remain bullish in the long term, as does it appear most of the people watching right now. Don't forget, we have a live stream tomorrow for members only. Welcome to our newest member. Welcome aboard, so you can join us on the live stream tomorrow. And I just put a link in the description if anybody else is interested in joining us on the members only live stream tomorrow after the market closes. You can hit the join button on the YouTube page. It's $5 a month, just so that you know. It does help support the channel. YouTube revenue is down to the point where it's almost non-existent, so that helps me get on here every day and keep doing what I'm doing. So I appreciate everybody. There were a lot of members on this live stream, so thank you to all the members that are here listening right now. Organic Auto said, damn, I missed most of the stream. No notifications went out. I don't know why that would be. I did my normal thing, but I don't know what happens. It's like a mystery, these notifications. So sorry you missed it, but this will remain open because this was live streamed to everybody. So to sum up, Bitcoin sideways. So thanks again. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thanks for everybody for subscribing. We're making progress on subscribers. Thanks to all the members. We're making progress there as well. And to everybody for the views and the comments. And I hope you guys appreciated and took with a grain of salt my April Fool's video. All right. So I think our next live stream is for members only tomorrow after the market closes. So for members, I will see you there. For everybody else, we always do a live stream Friday after the market closes that's open to everybody. So I hope to see everybody there as well. Go Bitcoin. Good luck, everybody, trading this week, and everybody have a great week.